How are you, Emmy? Hi, Ian. How are you?
Hi, fine, thanks, Katie.
That's good. I've just realised that I forgot to send out that text to remind people. That might have, but it's hard to remember, isn't it? That might
You
have.
sent one out.
So the problem is that you send out it's a different link each time, and it would be a lot more straightforward if it was like the same link for the whole program with calendar invites. So then, like, for example, that's why I was a little bit late, because I've tried to set it up, all the dates in my calendar.
Yeah.
Every time we do it, it says, oh no, this was the link for the last session. So I've got to look around in the email and find the latest link. So I think something like that might make it just a bit more straightforward.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to send everyone a questionnaire after this session, so you'll be able to provide feedback in that section. So absolutely, please send that through to Diabetes Vic, because this is how they like us to run them. So any feedback for them is very, very helpful. So yeah, definitely, Chloe, feel free.
Everything else is awesome though.
Yeah.
The only thing that it is a hassle trying to get into each session. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Saturday morning, I've not done a Saturday morning group before, but I think, yeah, it can be tricky for people because you sort of get into weekend mode and you sort of switch out of, your things. So anyway, hopefully I've got a couple of apologies. I've got a couple of people who I knew couldn't come, but I'm just thinking of a couple of others who are normally regulars. So anyway, that's fine. We'll just see what happens and who pops in, if anybody else. I am recording this session. As always, there's a couple of people that have requested it because they were going to be away this weekend. But let's start as we always do. It would be great to hear from each of you how the last couple of weeks have been. Some highlights, some lowlights, and then we'll start with our discussion around all things wellness. So that's our topic for today. Emmy, are you right? Can you hear me? Are you having a bit of trouble today? Or maybe she's having some trouble. Okay, I'll come back to her, don't worry. Ian, do you want to start? How's the last fortnight been going for you?
Pretty good once we got over COVID.
Oh, did you have COVID? Oh, yeah. Poor thing.
Anyway, we got over it all right. Took a while to clear, but
yeah,
we've been good. I've been changing quite a lot of food things. It's been good.
Yep.
Exercise-wise, I'm still playing golf, and I try and walk as much as I can every day.
Good on you. Yep.
No, yeah, it's been good.
Excellent. So you're still ticking along. That's excellent. And did COVID really whack you, or was it not too?
No, it didn't. It just took an age to go over. It took me 17 days to get a clear test in the finish, but
you got over it all right. So
no, it was a bit less than that.
Oh, goodness. Well, you're here. That's good. You've done well. Excellent. Chloe, how about you? Tell me about your fortnight.
Yeah, I've been sick for the whole fortnight. I did a couple of COVID tests and it came back negative for COVID, negative for flu. But I don't know. I literally had no voice for 10 days. I think I'm still a bit husky.
Yeah.
It's frustrating that it came back negative because it's like, I am sick.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Absolutely.
But it is frustrating because I joined the gym on the 1st of July.
Yep.
And I feel like I've been sick ever since.
Yeah.
That, I got the flu vaccination, and that took me a couple of weeks to fully bounce back from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I caught something from my parents that took quite a while to clear, and then and then there was this, and it's just like, have I seriously been sick for like 2.5 months? It was like 2.5 months.
Yes.
I also had a migraine for 24 days.
Oh, goodness. So you've had a really bad run.
I've literally had one thing after another for 3 months. Yeah, almost 3 months.
You're ready for spring.
I
You're ready
really
for
wanted
change.
to go to the gym. Like I'm just frustrated that my body is getting in the way.
Yes, absolutely. But you were most. I know.
If I had a healthy body, I'd be able to go to the gym. And if I was going to the gym, I'd have a healthy body. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really frustrating. I feel for you. It is so challenging when your mind is really wanting to do something, but your body is just saying no. But this is the thing too, though, there's no point trying to force it, because you would just fall in a big heap. So you can't drag yourself to the gym and, you know, do all those things when you know you're not feeling 100%. Your time will come. Your time will come. I promise you. Spring will finally roll in and you'll start to feel a bit better. But I feel you. It's been such a long winter. We're all ready for the next thing. So hopefully when I see you guys at the 6-month mark, you'll be saying, totally different story. I'm feeling really well and I've been able to get to the gym a couple of times in the week. And yeah, it will come.
And I am in Shepparton on Tuesday.
Oh, I was going to say, so you haven't been to Shep yet?
No, that workshop was... It was lucky it was cancelled because I had no voice, but I'm going for another workshop this week, which is about taking your business online.
Oh, good on you. Oh, well, that's great. I'll definitely suss it out. I always love seeing what the business centre do. They do lots of great things there. Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, Chloe. Good on you. Hello, Miriam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I wasn't expecting you today.
Oh, why not?
Didn't you say you might not be able to come?
No, I said I didn't get
you were the workbook. Yes, that's right, which I have ordered. I have confirmed and double checked, and they have said they sent it, but I've just asked them to send another one. So hopefully that one arrives in the next few days.
Did you check they've got the right address?
Yeah, it's that Yeats Street. Yeah, the one that you sent in Castlemaine. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, but don't worry, we'll keep. Let me know if you don't see it by the end of next week. But they assure me that they've now sent a second one. So anyway, we'll see.
Okay.
How's your fortnight been?
Yeah, it's been okay. Yeah. Okay. I took a friend of mine was sick, and I had to take her to the local hospital because it was Saturday and there's no GPs around town. You got to go to the hospital if you want a GP. And so I weighed myself on the scales there, and I was shocked. I was much less than I don't know than I thought I was. I was like 4 or 5 kilograms less. Yeah, you know, so, or 3, whatever. So yeah. So
and that was a surprise. That was a
surprise. Yeah.
Do you feel like you've been making changes to your health and well-being, or not necessarily?
I don't know, maybe slightly, but I'm also I still have these binges of indulgence, you know.
Yeah.
But overall, I think I'm probably eating slightly better, apart from the binges of indulgence.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, I don't ever place too much emphasis on what the scales say anyway, because they do change so much. But if that sort of slightly alters your, mind frame, or you feel like, oh, that's a pleasant surprise when I don't feel like I've sort of changed too much, that's a positive. So that's good, Miriam. But I'm glad that I think if you were to actually compare the way you would have been doing things at the very start of the program, there's a lot of subtle changes that we don't even sort of really feel or realize that we're actually doing. So hopefully
I think it's right.
Good, just a bit more aware.
Somebody said last time that they air fried their food, and I'd never heard of air fry before. Was that you, Chloe?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it before.
I use it all the time now, and I've even had another breakthrough since then, because I've been air frying slices of potato to make my own homemade chips.
That's what you said last time.
White potatoes. I need to be doing that with yams.
Yeah, that's right.
Now I can take the next step of actually going like with purple yams or something like that are even better, or beetroot, make beetroot chips.
That's right.
So is this a separate appliance, or is it part of your oven?
Yeah, separate.
Okay. Yeah.
I just ordered another appliance that you would sit on your counter.
Yeah.
I've just ordered a new oven, but I'd never heard of air fry, so I probably ordered the wrong oven. Anyway.
No.
You need both anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you mean?
You need both. You can't do without an ordinary oven as well, I wouldn't think, would you?
No.
You can get ordinary ovens that have air fry capacity in them. Yeah. But
interesting.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, it's so much healthier because you don't need to use any oil. The fact that I'm making chips with absolutely no oil, and they're delicious and crispy. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it out. Yeah.
Yeah, good on you. Yeah, air fryers, what would you say, Chloe? The last couple of years they've just suddenly gone really berserk. But again,
So,
yeah,
and they're cheap.
they're
Like,
cheap.
seriously,
Yeah,
I
that's
got mine
right.
at Aldi, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, really? How big
Yeah.
is it? Yeah, it's
About
like a
that big, and
microwave.
it sits on the counter, but it does eject heat. So I've actually got it next to the stove.
Yeah.
So if I'm air frying something for quite a while and there's a lot of hot air coming out, then I can put the air extractor on, and then it can suck that hot air out.
Right.
Yeah, good one.
Katie,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. I've
you're
just
fine.
got a delivery coming. I
Yeah,
might
sure.
just have to go step out for a few minutes.
Yeah, go.
Can you just record it? I'll stay in, but I'll mainly just stay in the background today, and I'll just listen. Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry,
at all.
just
You're fine.
bad-
No.
Bad timing.
No, you're absolutely fine. Go for it. Don't worry at all.
All
Thanks
right.
for letting me know.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah.
Emmy, can you hear me now? No, Emmy. No, I'm
Emmy,
sorry.
it might help if you change your audio. If you click on the little arrow next to the mic, it should give you an option to select a different speaker.
Chloe, I don't think she's hearing our voices though. I think she can see that we're talking
I'll
to her.
put a
Do you
note
want
in
to?
the chat.
Yeah, maybe just type to her. Yeah.
Send her a chat note. Tell her
Yeah, that's right.
there's
Exactly.
a couple of keys on the keyboard that'll bring it up.
Yeah, it's tricky,
Volume
isn't it?
keys on the top of the keyboard, F12, 11 and 12.
So I could see her trying to talk to me, but she was not getting very far.
You're doing that, Chloe? Just sending her a note? Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Chloe.
So she got neither speaker nor mic nor
No.
what do you call it?
Can you
Microphone.
hear us at all, Emmy? Can you wave if you can hear us? No.
And she
Okay.
can't speak either. Wow.
Oh, that's good. She can. Yeah, no, she's got no microphone or anything. Poor Emmy. I was looking forward to hearing about her party. Oh, okay. I might keep going. I've seen her on her phone. She might be trying to call in her grandchildren or somebody to come and give her a hand. Okay, so today's session.
One other thing that might help
Mm.
is with Zoom, it gives you the option to phone in and to do the audio over the phone.
You'd have to have your mobile on, Katie, with a.
I would.
Yeah.
Okay, that detail was not included in the
Yeah,
email.
It was there.
No, there's a separate thing. There's a separate code that you use if you actually want to actually phone and actually do the audio over a phone call. So you're still doing the video via the computer, but then you can be doing the audio via a phone.
I can't do anything about Emmy's audio, can I? Because I don't have any settings here.
If you were to send that other information when you create the Zoom event, it gives you a whole lot of information about people phoning in. And
yes, but I always just click just computer audio.
Yeah. Have you got Emmy's mobile?
Well, this is the circumstance for why that's handy to have that.
You mightn't have a mobile, of course.
I am recording this, so Em will be able to go back and watch it when she's able to. Okay, so today's session is talking all things wellness, because of course sometimes having all the information about eating well and exercising frequently, etc., is great, and it's a big part of it, but we've also got to be in the right sort of mind frame. We've also got to be feeling motivated, and there's lots of factors that can influence whether we do actually eat well or we do actually exercise frequently. So these other factors, and ones that we will be sort of touching on a little bit today, are things like our levels of stress, like the amount of sort of, anxiety or feelings of, overwhelm or mental health challenges, that type of thing that can influence. Other things such as like lapses, like, when you sort of go back into that sort of really dieting culture of, I'm going to start again Monday and I'm going to cut everything out from Monday to Friday. And then on the weekend, I'm going to eat the house down, I'm going to start again Monday. There's that kind of stuff that goes on for people as well. Mindful eating, sleep, it's a really, really important one. You know, we spend so much time looking at what we're doing in our awake hours. We sort of neglect to appreciate sometimes how important it is to really set ourselves up and have a really good night's sleep. Because of course, if we're feeling well rested, then we're a whole lot more likely to actually want to exercise and want to eat well. There's nothing that, you know, one of the biggest things that we can do when we are feeling tired is look to the pantry, look to the fridge, because we're feeling like we need that little bit of comfort or that little bit of pick me up. But a lot of the times we need a really good sleep. So those are some of the things that we're just going to be touching on today. There's no slides for today. It's just myself. And then there's also the workbook content, which you can go back and have a bit of a read through once you receive yours, Miriam, which I'm assuming will be next week. A really important thing I want to touch on first is the idea and the concept of lapses. So lapses are a really normal part of life, and we are social creatures. So we use food to celebrate, and there will always be times where we're not able to eat as well as we would like to, or we choose not to eat as well as we would like to, with parties, with celebrations, with whatever it may be. And these are completely normal, and we shouldn't for one moment feel any sense of guilt or feel anything, you know, bad about ourselves because we have lapsed. It's very normal and to be expected. It becomes a bit of a problem when we are relapsing. So when we start to do it frequently, and when it starts to become perhaps, you know, it goes from being an occasional problem, you know, an occasional lapse, and then it becomes a weekly, or it becomes a, you know, a daily sometimes. We've got backup. So that's the difference. That's what we're trying to do. We're saying lapses are completely normal and to be expected. We don't want to then allow them to then become relapses where we're doing it really frequently. That's when it can become a bit of a problem. And that's when we sort of fall off the bandwagon. Emmy, congratulations.
Yay!
You're here.
Happy birthday!
They went out for breakfast, so I had to wait.
Oh, you did well. We were missing you. We were watching your face look very, you didn't know what was going on.
I tried to lip read.
Oh, that would have been a very long session for you. You've done well. You haven't missed much. Don't worry at all.
Okay, thank you. All right.
You're absolutely fine.
Okay.
And we're all really looking forward to hearing about your party. Okay. So I'll do this session, then I'll ask you about it. Okay.
Okay.
Emmy, I've just been talking about the idea of lapses. So when you, you know, when you're having a celebration and you might overeat, or you might go to a party and you have lots of delicious foods and you feel a bit, you know, you feel a bit worried because you think, oh, I ate too much last night. I shouldn't have done that. I was trying to be really good, or I was trying to, you know, not eat foods that I shouldn't. I just want to really stress that it's okay to lapse. It's totally normal, and we should be able to lapse because that's life. But it becomes a bit of a problem when it becomes reoccurring and we are relapsing and relapsing. So the occasional one, totally fine. That's life. We don't want it to become a problem where we're doing it all the time. So there's a really good activity in this book, which I quite like. And it's the idea of, it's on page 97, and it's the idea around identifying when you are likely to lapse and really planning for it, because for each of us we have sort of different examples of how a lapse might look in our life. For some of us it's really occasional, it's just at the odd party. For others it might be when we catch up with a particular friend. You know, we've all got those friends that love to go for a coffee, but they really also love that piece of cake with it, or they really love, you know, going out for huge meals, and, you know, and that's all good and we want to socialize, but planning for the lapse and preparing for it can make it seem a little bit more daunting, less daunting, I should say. So it's quite a nice activity just to sort of get into the idea of, when do I plan to lapse? What would that lapse look like? I've got a 40th coming up. I'm talking about me now. I've got a 40th coming up tonight. So I know that I'll have a few champagnes and I'll enjoy the food and I'll have a really great time. But I will be aware of it. And so today I might be a bit more conscious of, maybe I won't go and have a piece of cake with my coffee tonight, knowing that tonight I will then be having a little bit extra and being a little bit more indulgent tonight. So it's just planning for it. Sorry, Chloe, you go. What's your question?
Now there's a lapse and there's a lapse. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So what have you got for us in terms of pattern interrupts? Because quite often, like, you kind of on autopilot and you're like, hey, where'd that whole block of food go?
Absolutely.
So how we can be more mindful of our eating and
definitely.
When we don't like go, where did that whole tub of ice cream go?
Definitely. Yes. Absolutely. And that definitely, just like you already identified, that would fall out of the lapse group and comes into mindful eating. So absolutely, mindful eating is such an important skill, but it does take practice, and you do have to learn how to eat mindfully. So when we talk about eating mindfully, it's not what you are eating, it's how you are eating. Okay. So we all overeat. There's all occasions where we eat more than what we perhaps wanted to or should have. And that's okay too. But as Chloe's already sort of said, there's overeating, and then there's really going down the road of eating everything, really sort of eating significant amounts of food. And there's a few things that we I think one of the good things to do is to identify the situations that you do tend to overeat in. So is it an emotional response? Is it something to do with feeling flat or feeling frustrated or feeling overwhelmed? Or is it more circumstantial? So I've been at work all day, I come home, there's that 2 hours between finishing work and doing dinner. That's when I'm starving, and that's when I tend to overeat. Or is it when I'm bored at nighttime after dinner, and I'm thinking, I'm watching TV and I just want to have something sweet, and then it, snowballs a bit. Yeah. So I think that's the first step in identifying it and actually looking at what are my habits and routines. And depending on where you fall into those areas, you can have a sort of a slightly different approach, I suppose, to how you might tackle it. And generally people are not overeating because they're hungry. Generally it's because of other factors, just like I said before, that you're feeling really tired or you're feeling really overwhelmed. One of the things that we practice a lot is the acronym HALT. Have I already talked about this? HALT. So HALT is an acronym which is a really good one. And for some people, I've had clients in the past who have stuck the word HALT on their fridge. And HALT stands for H for hungry, A for anxious, L for lonely, and T for tired. So this acronym, sorry, go.
Can you say that again? I'm just going to write it down.
H for hungry, A for anxious, L for lonely, and then T for tired. So this is a nice little acronym because it gives you the opportunity to, if you feel like, okay, I'm starting to look for food and I'm just not quite sure whether this is because I'm hungry and because my body needs fuel, or is this because of something else? And so the HALT acronym is a nice way to actually make you halt, make you stop and say, okay, am I genuinely am I genuinely hungry? Am I A, feeling a bit anxious, feeling a bit agitated, feeling a little bit stressed, etc.? Am I L, lonely? Am I just feeling really emotional and flat and sad tonight? Am I T, just tired? Am I just worked to the bone and tired? And if you are anything but H for hungry, the recommendation is that you find something else to soothe yourself, because if you're those ALT, then you're needing comfort and you're needing support, but it's important to seek out other strategies, finding out other things that can potentially support you and can potentially help you, but not necessarily food related, because we know food, as much as it feels like it's going to, it never actually fixes an emotional problem. Food just continues to, it can feel like it's comforting, and it will for a moment in time, but then it very quickly starts to unravel a bit more. And then it starts to feel, then you start to feel a bit frustrated and you feel a bit guilty and you feel a bit annoyed and you feel, you know, all of those negative ones. So it comforts you for a little bit, but then the guilt starts and then you feel bad for overeating and for spoiling yourself and, you know, etc. So the HALT acronym, I mean, it's not going to work every single time, but it's practicing and training and trying to support you to get yourself to re-engage and to put a bit of a circuit breaker in what can lead to that sort of overindulging and that overeating. So I like that little tidy acronym because it does, yes, it can just make you stop in your tracks and think, right, I need something right now, but perhaps it's not food. Perhaps I can seek out something else. There will be times when you're hungry. And please, I would never, ever say ignore hunger cues. I want you to get in touch with what your body is telling you. And I want you to listen to your body. If you are hungry, have something to eat. And if you can genuinely say, I feel like something sweet, have something sweet. Sometimes too, when we try and avoid the thing we're feeling like, we end up eating 25 things and then eventually just eating the thing we wanted at the start anyway. So sometimes just having that sweet thing and having a bit of it and enjoying it, it's so much better than trying to eat all the other things first before eating it anyway. So that's what mindful eating and the practice of it is getting in touch with what is my body asking for? What am I feeling like? Am I feeling upset? Am I feeling emotional? What else can I find to do that can support me? So yes, I just like to give that acronym out because for some people it can be really quite helpful. Some of the common reasons that people might be eating mindlessly, and of course there is so many, but some of the really common ones might be not, just like we spoke about then, not recognizing the difference between hunger cues and non-hungry eating. Not stopping to listen to what our body is telling us. We need to get better at listening to what our gut literally is saying. How full am I? Do I need to finish everything that's on my plate? I know that history says that I should eat everything on my plate because that's what I've been conditioned to do. But what will happen if I don't finish it? I will feel more satisfied. I'll feel fine. And I can put Glad wrap over the top of this and I can have it for lunch tomorrow as leftovers. Okay. So listening to what your body is telling you. Am I hungry? No. Am I getting full? Yes. Okay. I might just have a pause in a moment. Confusing hunger and thirst. Are you drinking enough water? Are you drinking enough liquids? That's a really important one as well. Making sure that you are getting enough fluids, of course. Allowing yourself to get too hungry. This is a really common one. If you're somebody that has big gaps of time in the day when you're not eating, that is a really common one for eventually then overeating. If you're somebody that you might have breakfast and then you don't have lunch until 2 o'clock, it's too much time between meals. So then when you do finally get a chance to eat, you tend to eat the whole place because you're starving and you feel like I really need something to eat. I'm so hungry. Whereas if you eat regularly and you eat every few hours, then you are able to actually monitor the hunger and not get to the point of starvation and I need to eat now. Eating in case we might get hungry later. I've been consulted with a lot of clients in this space. It is something that seems to happen for some people. They feel sort of a little bit worried about, but if I don't eat now, then I'll be too busy to eat later. So I'm just going to eat lots now because I'm worried about feeling hungry later. Feeling hungry is okay. It's not anything to feel worried about. And if that is something that pops up in your situation, then perhaps making sure that you always do have, something on hand so you can have some raw nuts or something. So then when you are in that really busy time and you don't have the time to physically have a meal, you've got something just to sort of fill that sort of hunger need. Eating in response to emotions, eating because we're tired, eating because we're bored. I've got 3 children who are very good at eating because they're bored. It is a very common, easy one to do. So again, it's just recognizing in your own situation, what are the cues? What are the things that tend to lead me to overeating? And depending on which part of that framework that I just sort of discussed you land, there is different strategies in which you can sort of try and apply to obviously, try and get around it. It's tricky. It's really, really tricky. some of the mindful eating techniques. So yes, just like we spoke about, applying the HALT acronym, eating regularly, really, really important. Finding a place to eat and to actually prioritize the act of eating. You know, I'm really guilty of this. I'll get really busy at work and I'll just come and sit here and I'll eat really, really quickly while I'm pumping out 25 emails. And before I know it, I've eaten, but I didn't even really recognize that I had eaten because I was eating too distracted. So you miss the opportunity to actually listen to yourself and think, I was full ages ago, but I just kept eating because it was there and I wasn't focusing on the food in front of me. I was trying to do too many other things. So finding the time to actually prioritize eating and to take yourself away or to close your computer, to sit, to eat, to taste, to smell, to chew, to actually enjoy and to really practice the art and act of eating is an incredibly undervalued skill to have. So not eating while you were distracted. Putting your utensils down. I've eaten with lots of different people in my time, and there are a lot of very fast eaters out there. And it is a really easy thing to do, that when you have eaten some mouthfuls, to put your knife and fork down and to sit and to chew it. We've all been with those people before where they hang on to their knife and fork through the whole meal and it is just shoveled in. You know, they hardly have time to breathe. Again, you're losing the ability to take stock and to think about how I'm feeling. Am I enjoying the meal? So that's a really simple one. Just putting your knife and fork down, sitting, chewing, observing, actually eating properly. The amount of times that you chew too, it's a really interesting one. We sort of recommend that people should chew each mouthful for at least about 10 to 15 chews. Like that's a lot of chews. So I don't want you to spend the rest of your days counting chews because it's very, very laborious. However, it is a really interesting one because it's the very beginning of your digestive process. So if you're somebody that just sort of goes 1, 2, 3, swallow, 1, 2, 3, swallow, 1, 2, 3, swallow, you've got a lot of food very quickly being dumped into your stomach and it's undigested food. So that then leads to there being a lot more activity in your stomach, and then you might start to feel more bloated and more gassy and things start to go that way. But as well, because you're chewing and eating so quickly, you're not getting the opportunity to really sit and to enjoy your meal. So that can be just a nice one just to sort of have a go at and get used to, you know, how quickly am I chewing? Am I digesting my food well? Counting your chews. That's another good way just to slow things down. That's definitely the point that I'm trying to get across, is that if you're too busy eating really quickly or you're too distracted, you won't be able to eat mindfully at all. Going for seconds. There is a rule that all nutritionists and dietitians say, and you need to wait 20 minutes before you go and get your second plate of food. So we know that the stomach takes a little while to catch up to our brain. So we may see that we have an empty plate in front of us and we think that was so delicious, I'm going to go and get another plate of food right now. But the rule of thumb is to wait 20 minutes to actually allow your stomach to digest and to actually allow your stomach to realize that you've eaten a meal. If after that 20 minutes, you genuinely can say hand on heart that you are still hungry, please go and have more food by all means. Generally though, it's just more of a habit. We have that first plate and we think that was delicious, I'm going to eat it again right now. And very quickly we've got a second plate of food in front of us, and very quickly we've eaten that second plate of food and we are chock-a-block and we feel so uncomfortable and so full. Okay, so giving that 20-minute rule as just a bit of a circuit breaker, I'm going to wait 20 minutes, and if I'm still hungry, then I will have that second plate. But making it a steadfast rule can be helpful just to sort of get it as not an option so much. And yeah, enjoy your meal. I mean, food's delicious. I would never say don't eat. My goodness, I want you all to eat lots and to eat delicious, amazing food, but I want you to enjoy it, okay? And we all know that when you're having a moment in that time when you're just thinking, you know, I don't like the term binge. It doesn't portray it in a pleasant way, but when you are really overeating to excess, it's not an enjoyable experience. You're not wanting to do it. It takes over your body. It's not pleasurable, so we want food to be really pleasurable, and I want you to eat and I want you to enjoy it 100%. But there is a bit of technique to it. So just being a bit more aware of how you do tend to approach food can be really helpful to sort of take your mind out of it a little bit. Yes, mindful eating. I hope, did that help a little bit, Chloe, around?
Yeah, absolutely. I really liked that whole waiting 20 minutes and then asking myself, and I do that halt of like, am I really hungry? What is my intention?
Yeah. What is my intention here? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
I suppose one other thing with that though is it's kind of like, I don't know if I'm addicted to some kind of rush, but it's kind of like I can eat to the point where I actually have like a food sweat.
Yes.
It was like, oh, I've got a chocolate sweat, or I've got an ice cream sweat. And it's kind of
yeah.
So on one hand, it's like going, okay, my body's having some kind of rush, but then I'm thinking, what reaction is that? Is that my blood sugar level like going off the charts? Is this me risking diabetes? Like, is this pushing my, body to that danger?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Look, our bodies are amazing, and they will manage and cope with so much more than we deserve to give them. But definitely that's that real spike in sugar. So that's your body working overtime to pump that glucose into the areas that it's needed. But yeah, I completely agree. It can feel like a bit of an adrenaline rush, but absolutely, if you're a bit of a closet adrenaline junkie, let's find you another way to get that high. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of but yeah, definitely it can feel quite sort of like a bit sparkly. That's right. I totally get it. That's right. But it is your body having to deal with that sort of heavy duty load of sugar and things. So it's not ideal, but I can appreciate that it probably does feel quite good at the time as well. But yeah, we need to get you into some, I don't even know what, some adrenaline junkie groups or something where you can get that buzz. Yeah, good on you, Chloe. Ian, were you going to ask anything?
I just wonder if the body knows if you enjoy the food, because when I was on a plant-based diet for a while and I didn't enjoy the food, and I said to the instructor there that I don't really like the food, and she said, well, I don't either. I eat what body needs, not what I need.
Wow.
So that's extreme. And they're very fit people. She's nutritionist and he's a doctor, and they run everywhere. They're skinny, they're over 60 years old. But she said she doesn't enjoy her food. Maybe or not always, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, Emmy, she sounds like a very not very happy person. No, you have to enjoy your food. Goodness, because if you're not enjoying it, it's not sustainable. You can't do that forever, because you eventually just think, I'm miserable and hungry and I want to eat. Food is for pleasure. Yeah, absolutely.
A long time ago, when I was doing the yoga, was the same thing. No, not the same, the opposite thing. She said, when you cook, because I was younger with children then, she said, you tell your family what you're cooking, so they are prepared and they have the saliva ready or whatever. And it's very important for them to know what you're cooking, what they're going to eat.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, that's how they explain. Yeah.
I think if I'd prepared my children for every meal we were having, they would just be turning their noses up for longer. I don't think it prepares their saliva. I think they'd just be a bit angrier for longer. Look, there's so many people out there, and this is the thing with food, because we all do it, we all eat food, so therefore we all feel as though we're entitled to have an opinion on it. So there's a lot of people out there giving their own opinions on what works for them. And that's full respect to that. If that's what's working for you and you're feeling really good and you feel positive, then fantastic. But the one thing I appreciate that people really promote the idea of being skinny or being a small body weight. However, there is so much more to life than just being skinny. I want people to have a really positive relationship with food. I want food to feel good for people. It's not to be scared about it. It's not to feel stressed about it. It's just to choose what's going to nourish you, what's going to make you feel good. And sometimes foods nourish your body and your organs and do those things, but sometimes they nourish your mind and your body and your stomach, you know, because they feel good to eat. So we want to celebrate food. We don't ever want it to feel really stressful. And I would hate to live an existence where I was just eating things because I felt like that's what I had to do and I was miserable doing it. It doesn't sound like a very enjoyable existence to me. So, but again, everyone has very different opinions, and that's absolutely fine. One of the next things is, and I know that of course everyone would sort of relate to this concept, but post-COVID, mental health has, of course, been an incredibly, really big topic, and everyone is finding, you know, their own way through it. And stress is something that is incredibly difficult to, and challenging to work with when it comes to trying to eat well, because stress is such a big trigger for a lot of people in terms of gut issues and their food choices and not allowing them to sleep well. So, you know, it really ties into that whole picture about wellness and how we're sort of feeling day to day. But having said that, stress is also a really normal part of life too. So again, we can't sort of avoid it or try to never feel stressed, because it's impossible. There is always going to be triggers and things that make us feel a little bit stressed. But it's how we manage it, and it's what we do with it that actually has the biggest impact. We can't avoid it. So what can we do to manage it, and what can we do to sort of try to feel a bit better about it? So again, I'll come back to the same thing of identifying the times in our life, things that make us feel stressed, and identifying those and trying to then not prepare to avoid, but just prepare for them, and then just to be a little bit more ready for them, I suppose. Understand the situations that you can and can't control. Just simply and appreciating that and acknowledging it. I cannot control this, no matter what I do, no matter how hard I work, no matter what I try and bend myself into, I cannot change this. Preparing for those stressful events just by thinking about them instead of being a bit more aware, just like I said. Doing something that makes you feel good every day, whatever that might be. But also, of course, the things that we know is that eating a really good diet, but also exercising regularly. We know that one of the best things for mental health is always going to be exercise, always. The GPs, a really good GP will recommend you a physical activity regime. Very first thing, getting out there, even if you just go outside and do a nice brief 10-minute walk, it doesn't have to be a slog it out at the gym session. Doing something is always going to be so much better than doing nothing, just like we spoke about last time. Meditation. Does anyone, awesome, Chloe. He or she, I shouldn't say he or she is an amazing GP, and that's what they should definitely be doing every time. Meditation. Does anyone do it now? Does anyone meditate?
No.
Chloe, I can see you going.
I'm a restless person, so I don't so much meditate in the traditional sense, but for me what works is like meditative activities.
Definitely.
So not so much sort of sitting still and having an empty mind. For me, it might be walking, or doing something creative, or dance. Dance is a really good one for me.
Definitely.
Moving meditation.
Amazing. Yes, music is definitely one that they highly recommend for meditative activity. And that's right, you don't have to sit cross-legged and sort of sit very, very quietly and do it like that. I can't. I'm the same as you, Chloe. My mind just goes. But definitely finding something that you do that just makes you sort of come away from your mind a little bit can be really helpful. Miriam, were you going to say something? Sorry, did I interrupt?
No, I wasn't. But the meditation thing is, I was thinking, no, I don't meditate. But then I remember, actually, I do every time I go to the dentist. Because like 30 years ago, I did this meditation course. And like it's this Satchanandra or some Indian thing with a chant, you know, and I bought the tape.
Yeah,
and I used to
right.
meditate every day to
Yeah,
this
good.
tape, you know. So, and I haven't done that for like 20 years, except when I go to the dentist.
See, so you've never
anytime
forgotten it.
anytime I'm in
Yeah.
a situation where it's, you know, pain or stress or something.
Yes, you're
you
uncomfortable.
know,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
replay this tape in my head, you know.
The power of the mind. You're doing it without
Yeah.
even thinking.
Yeah.
There is one, yeah, so I'm very much the same. It's not something that I do regularly. I wish that I did, because I am like a stressy person. I am someone that gets really wound up and stressed because I've got a lot to do. So I do. And they say that if you want to be a more relaxed person, you have to practice it. You don't just suddenly become more relaxed because you say that you're going to. So I do really try to find times in my day to force myself to be more relaxed, even though it is a challenge. But there is an app, if you're an app person, called Insightful Timer. And it is a free app, but it basically just has a full range of short ones. There's stories. I use them for my girls to go to sleep at night. They like listening to them whilst they wind down. But there's some really good ones in there, and I just quite like it because some are stories, some are just, you know, an actual meditation. But I don't feel the pressure of having to sit and really try to stop my brain from going, you know. So that's one that I do quite like. And another thing as well, which people say is really, really beneficial, and it's relaxation breathing. So you're not necessarily meditating per se, but it's the opportunity to sit. It's making me take a deep breath now because I'm talking about it. But to actually get some deep breaths, and that just slows your central nervous system right down. And a really nice, easy, simple activity is called square breathing, where if you just sort of imagine in your mind and you inhale 2, 3, 4, and then you come down the box, exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4, and you're up the box, exhale 2, 3, 4. So in your mind, you were just making a very slow square, and you're just inhaling on the count of 4, exhaling count of 4. And that, I find that I only have to do that a few rounds, and that really slows me down as well. So again, I'm not trying to say that everyone's lives will be perfect and there'll be no more stress and we can just live happily ever after. That's not reality. We need to accept that we're going to feel stressed and we're going to feel worried and we're going to feel anxiety. But we need, if the more strategies we have in our toolbox for when we do feel those times coming along, the better we are to sort of manage it, to cope and to deal with it. So there's just a couple of little helpful things that may or may not work for some people. Sleep. Tell me about how you sleep. Ian, are you a good sleeper?
Mostly, but I can't. Every now and then I have a bad night. I suppose everybody does. My wife and I find that I have a bad night one night and she has it the next night. But then
tag team.
Accept it, you know. I don't worry about it anymore. No.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And
I sleep all right. I'm pretty busy, so, you know.
Yes, I think and I think that's a very, very, very common thing, is that everyone will have the odd night, you know, the occasional night where you don't sleep as well as you would like to. But if on the whole, the majority is that you're sleeping well, what's well for you, then I think that's a pretty good report. Miriam, how about you? What do you do overnight?
Oh, I've always had a shocking history with sleep. Yeah, I usually go to sleep very, very late. Yeah. And if I don't go to sleep late, I wake up in the middle of the night, you know, like, so it's kind of a bit no win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to bed late is one way to help, I think, but it's difficult when you're like, I play golf and I get up at 5:30 to play this particular day, so I can't really. I'm very tired by about 8 o'clock at night. So you got to just got to cop it one way or the other.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Emmy, how do you sleep?
Oh, well, I need a power nap in the afternoon sometime, but I never lie down. I sit in front of the computer or something. I don't even lean on the side. I just sit. And I always, that's how I do it. But that is such a powerful sleep that I'm really good up almost to 11 or midnight. And yeah, that helps me, but I just can't help it. I need that little bit through the day.
Yeah.
I do have a sleep apnea, so I have a machine.
Mhm.
But when I lie down, I start thinking what I did through the day, should have done that, or maybe I shouldn't have. So what I do now is, well, I've been doing it for a while, is listening story, a book.
Good.
Audio book.
Yes.
And I put it a very gentle voice, and I put it right next to my ear. And so I stop thinking about what happened through the day. I'm just listening that story, and then it puts me to sleep. And when I turn over, that voice, it keeps talking till morning, but because I turn away, I don't hear it anymore because it's so soft.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's what I do every night.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. Absolutely.
I think the power nap thing is a good thing, for especially when you're
Agreed.
older. I mean, I'm over 82, but it's once you get over 80, it is almost a necessity, actually.
Ian, I'm
Every
30.
now and then.
Ian, I'm 38 and I have a power nap every afternoon.
Do you?
Like it is, yes.
Every day.
It's whenever I can fit it in. Like, so I can't do it every day, but I love it. Yeah, that's
It
right.
is scientifically proven to be very effective.
Oh, I love it.
2 days out of every day. It makes
I used to worry about it, but I don't anymore.
No, don't worry about it.
Workplaces should have nap
As long as it's fairly short.
Yes, agree, Chloe. Workplaces should definitely.
Sorry, I had the power nap when babies were little. I fall asleep before babies did.
Yeah, that's right. You would feel better. Don't know if the babies slept, but that's okay. Yes, definitely. And look, and sleep is such a personal thing. We all do it so differently. But again, finding the strategies that work for you, just like what Emmy has identified, that the afternoon nap makes a big difference, and then falling asleep to a story. Another, right, because I'm really guilty of that. If I've had a really busy day and then I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and then I'll just lie awake thinking about all the things I didn't do, all the things I have to do, and it's sort of your mind's having that opportunity to do a big download because it hasn't done that all day. So I have personally found it quite helpful just having a journal next to my bed. And because I used to wake up and then be really stressed about, at 2 a.m. and feel, oh no, now I'm not going to be able to sleep. And now I'm going to toss and turn, and then it's 4:30 and then I'm more stressed. And so now I just sort of softly I just think, okay, I'm just going to write all these things down. And then I'm actually awake a lot less time rather than stressing and avoiding, because you become so irrational in the middle of the night. You become really silly about being stressed about work or things about, it's all feels so much more amplified. But they do, of course, another thing, I'll keep coming back to this, but the more physically active that you are during the day as well makes a big difference to your ability to sleep at nighttime as well, of course, because sometimes our brains are really fatigued, but our actual bodies are not, because we haven't moved our bodies very much. So definitely the more physical we are during the day, the better, so to speak, that we are sort of able to get sort of a heavier sleep overnight. But some of the things that they do sort of recommend is having a regular sleep pattern, like trying not to change your bedtime hugely. Making sure that when you do hop into bed that you're there to sleep, that you don't hop in and then start looking at your phone or then watch TV for 3 hours, or then, making it a really clear difference between when I'm up and watching TV and then I come to bed and go to bed. They say if you're somebody that doesn't like the clocks, to avoid having the clocks around, having a really good wind down routine. So actually giving yourself that opportunity just to gently wind down. So not going from like crazy manic to then going and lying down, and then you're just lying there wide awake thinking, oh my God, that was so hectic, making sure the room's comfortable. Are you too hot? Are you too cold? Are you, all those things that sort of make it bit of a difference. Avoiding coffee if you need to. That's not the case for everybody. Some people, I can have coffee at midnight and I would still go to sleep at 5 past midnight. Right. But we're very clever like that, Ian. But some people, they can't have it after midday, you know, so what's right for you, just to remember that, and trying not to have screen time an hour or so before bed. I know that's hard. Like I always finally get an opportunity to watch some TV in peace at nighttime. So, but if you're somebody that can and you just want to go to bed and read a book for a little while, that's a really nice wind down as well. But again, sleep is such a fickle thing. You'll have a couple of nights where you're really good at it, and then the next night you have a shocker. So it is hard. But if it feels like it's a big problem for you, don't just sit on it. Go and see a GP, go and get a referral to somebody, and go and get some support around it, because we spend a lot of time trying to do it. So if we can get it right, it makes your daytime hours so much better and so much easier to manage, you know. So yeah, that is wellness. There is a few other sort of little readers in there that I've sort of touched on a little bit, which you can go and have a look. There's a bit of talk in there around social eating, which I didn't touch on tonight, but it's really just more so for tonight. Sorry, now I'm really in bed mode. But when you are going out for meals, you know, there's a couple of really good examples here, like the healthier ways to eat out, you know, not opting for a creamy pasta sauce, go for a tomato-based one, or, you know, just sort of making those small changes. But there needs to be a little sort of fine print there. Like for me personally, I just think if you're going out to have a meal, please go and enjoy it. I mean, go Chloe.
Talking about creamy sauces, I was smart one time where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to eat it all. I'm going to have the leftovers taken home.
Nice.
And a whole separate meal.
Yeah.
But then I was horrified the next day when I put it in the microwave.
Oh, had it all separated?
It separated, and then it was like going, this is a bowl of butter. It's just like the sauce was literally just saturated fat.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me realize, oh my God, no wonder I was so full and felt so sickly when I was
gross.
eating that.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Was there like a whole block of butter just in
and
this
yes,
one
there
thing?
was. Yes, there was.
So I from that, and that's the thing. It was like while that was, you know, I learned anyway. I learned from that mistake.
You learned a lot. Yeah, that's right.
I never go toward a creamy sauce ever again.
Yeah, that's right. I think I've spoken to a few chefs before, and they said if you actually saw what we put into the meals in terms of the amount of salt and the amount of, just like you said, fat and all the rest of it, it is off the charts. So, you know, but I was really proud to hear that you had said that you didn't feel the need to eat it all. I mean, that's a really powerful thing too. I mean, eat what you enjoy, have a smaller amount of it. You know, you don't have to go without, but maybe don't eat a bucket of it, you know. So, but definitely, please, food is there to be enjoyed, but just to, portions. So much of it is not about what you're eating, it's about how much of things that you are eating. Any questions?
I just want to mention this last time somebody said, because I can't drink water, to put a little bit of vinegar in, and I tried it and I was amazed. It tastes all right.
Wasn't that Chloe? Was that you, Chloe, who said put some apple cider vinegar in water?
Yeah.
Emmy's loving it.
Thank you.
It's delicious, isn't it?
Such an incredible. I mean, people tell me put a lemon in, but I didn't like lemon. But vinegar had a bit of apple cider vinegar had a bit different taste. So now I've got to buy a new bottle because it was sort of a bit thick on the bottom.
And with apple cider vinegar, you specifically want the one where it says with the mother. With the mother. So because some apple cider vinegar is where it's been cooked, so it doesn't actually have all of the active ingredients like a yogurt, all that like good stuff, the living culture in it. So by the mother means it's actually still got the living healthy good stuff in it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Thank you,
So it should be like a little bit cloudy, and it might even, if it's got like a lumpy thing in the bottom, that's great, because that's good
right.
stuff in microbiome. Yeah.
Thank you.
So there's a particular one that's in a glass jar, a glass bottle.
Just from the supermarket, Chloe, or where are you? Yeah.
In the
Oh, right.
supermarket, health
Yep.
food shops. So it is a particular one that is really good, and that's like real apple cider vinegar rather than the overly processed one.
Yeah.
And it might taste the same, but it doesn't have the active ingredients.
There you go, Em. Now you're drinking lots of water. Good on you.
Oh,
Excellent.
And when you asked me about my party,
Yay.
when people started to come, I didn't have a breakfast, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have a lunch because people came.
Yeah.
I did nothing all day.
No.
And
No.
I was so distracted. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't thirsty. I just was so happy. And then when everybody left about 6 o'clock at night, I thought, I am so hungry.
Yeah. And how did the cake go? Was the cake a big success?
It was beautiful. I don't know how to send you a picture, but
No, that's okay.
it was
Well, I'm just
really
glad you loved
pretty.
it.
And like I said, it cost $100. I thought that was terrible, but next day my daughter advertised somewhere and she gave it away to somebody.
Oh, fantastic.
Dear, she said, Mom, that's a volunteer, whatever. You don't need it
Yeah.
anymore.
No,
So
that's
the next
right.
person was very happy. If somebody doesn't have the money to buy expensive cake,
Yeah, that's
because
right. It's a
they
great
are
option.
around $100, yeah.
Yeah.
So this piece of person came, balloons and all.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's so lovely, Em. I'm so glad you had a lovely day. That's
So
really good.
after the next time, my cousin and the one you saw,
Oh, yeah.
Christina and him, took me to Sydney. So that's why I'm in Sydney now.
Oh, you're in Sydney today.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic. Oh,
And,
you're having a lovely time, Em.
Yeah, I didn't have a computer, so I didn't know how to work it. Yeah.
Oh, it
But
all makes sense.
It's
Yeah.
a sunny day here, about 23 degrees.
Oh, that's nice. It's a lot better than
Yeah.
Shepparton anyway. Oh, that's good, Em. I'm
you.
so glad. Good on you.
Yeah.
Was there any other questions before I tell you about the next bit? You know, you can always email me anyway if something suddenly does pop up.
Yeah.
And there's lots of stuff in that session for you to have a look through as well, just to continue on with your reading.
I like the breathing part. I wrote that down because the square thing. I
yeah,
like
the
it.
relaxation breathing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good,
I
Em.
wanna
Yeah,
do
it's really
that,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you'll be able to do that while you're in Sydney. So I don't have the date in front of me, which is silly of me, but we now catch up at the 6-month mark. So that will be in around, have you got it in front of you, Chloe? No. I think it's in about 3 months though.
It's a really long way away.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4th of February.
Amazing. Thank you,
4th
Ian.
of February, 23.
Yeah.
Wow, next year.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, probably be here before we know it. But yes, so we do these sessions each fortnight and then we stop now. And now all of the information that you've learned, you take into the world and try to apply it, of course. And then we catch up again at the 6-month mark. So we will do this again. But you all know that, you have my contact details. So you know to reach out if you're feeling like you just got a burning question or something that you need to know a little bit more about, please reach out. The one thing that I will ask is that now, Em, but because you're in Sydney, don't worry too much at the moment, but I do need each of you to complete for me this questionnaire. So this is the information that has to go back to Diabetes Vic, and the group can't proceed. They make me get them all from you. So the group can't proceed until everyone's done it. So I'll send it to you in an email sort of shortly. So then it only takes a few minutes, but you've just got to open up the document and then you'll be able to save it and then complete it on the document and then send it back to me. So
that's one that I've already done.
Have you already done it? Have you already sent it to me?
From all the medical data and the doctor's sign off.
This one's more about like when you did your intro session, possibly it's more about like how your physical activity, the food that you've been eating, how you've been going emotionally. So it's more that stuff. Yeah, it's like a multiple choice thing.
And when do we
It-
send that to? Have we got the link to that already? Or
No, I'm going to send it to you just after this session. Yep.
and when do you need that by?
Well, ideally, so I can get them back to Diabetes Vic Monday morning. But you just
Yeah,
enjoy your
I mean,
holiday. Don't
yeah.
worry about it.
I come back next week.
Yeah, perfect. Well, you just do it once you're home and you've got some,
Yeah.
and you with your normal computer. That's fine. But if you are able to do it this weekend, that would be wonderful, and I would greatly appreciate it. And if you don't, I will hunt you down anyway. So don't worry. I'll just continue to find you and ask you kindly for it. But yes, thank you very much. That's session 4, all things wellness. So I hope there was a little bit of things that will be helpful going forward. Go and
Really good.
relax, meditate, do all the
Thank
right
you,
things.
and happy birthday. Happy
Oh,
birthday.
Yeah,
Happy birthday!
Lady,
happy birthday.
To me?
you were saying you're having your
When
birthday,
it's
weren't you?
coming.
No. When's my birthday?
I thought you were saying you were having it tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she's going to. a party.
No, it's not mine.
Oh, it's somebody
Ian.
else.
Oh, I was telling
Well,
you.
wish them a happy birthday.
Yeah, I will. Don't you worry, Ian. I'll pass on your best wishes. No, I'm not 40 yet, Ian. I've still got another year.
Wow, you look so young.
I feel like
Yeah. But no, it's been lovely to see you all again. Keep on keeping on, and you know to reach out, because I'm just always an email away. And I will send a very relaxed response back. Okay, not a frazzled one.
Thank you,
Thanks, baby.
Kathy.
Thanks, crew. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.